Application of quadratic functions. I'm Anil Kumar, and now let us see how to solve the given question. The larger of two numbers is 5 more than the smaller. What are the numbers if the sum of the squares of the larger added to 4 times the smaller is to be a minimum? Now I'll provide you a solution to this, provide you probably two different solutions, right? And then it's all up to you. You can adopt either one of them to solve such questions. Let us read this question once again. The larger of two numbers is 5 more than the smaller. So let us say one number is x, then the other one is x plus 5. What are the numbers if sum of squares of the larger added to 4 times the smaller? Sum of squares of larger, that means x plus 5 square added to 4 times smaller, that means 4 times x, is to be minimum. So let us call this function as sum. So sum of these two, we want to make that as minimum. So that is the equation, right? So we are looking for a minimum. Minimum sum, right? Which is a function of x in our case. How to do it? So whenever it comes to maximum or minimum, the criteria is do completing the squares. So that is a very standard way of doing it. So we should do completing the squares, find the answer. The other method is partial factoring, which is a very effective tool, not always used. So I'll show you both methods here, right? So let us do completing the squares first. So for that, let's expand this, and then what do we get? We get x squared plus 2 times this is 10x plus 5 squared is 25 plus 4x. Combining like terms, 10x and 4x, we get x squared plus 14x plus 25. To complete the squares, we have to add and subtract square of half of this number, right? So we get x squared plus 14x plus 7 square minus 7 square plus 25. Now, as you know, the first three terms here form a perfect square, correct? And that is equal to x plus 7 whole square. And then we have minus 49, 7 square is 49, plus 25. So that means we have a vertex which is at x equals to minus 7, and the value is how much? Minus 49 plus 25. So that is the value which is equals to minus 24, which is minus 24. In fact, I should actually write that here. So let me write it first. X plus 7 whole square minus 24. So that is what we get. And so we need to find what? The larger of the two numbers is 5 more than the smaller. What are the numbers if sum of squares of the larger added to 4 times the smaller is to be the minimum? So we are looking for numbers. So x is equals to minus 7. That gives us first number. The second number will be minus 7 plus 5. Is that okay? The other number is minus 7 plus 5, which is equals to minus 2. So our answer is minus 7 and minus 2. So these are the two numbers which satisfy the condition. Well, this is one way of doing it. The other way is when we get this quadratic function, we can do partial factoring instead of completing the squares. So at this stage, we have an equation which is sum is equals to x squared plus 14x plus 25, right? So we did completing the squares. Let us do partial factoring. So here we will do a method which is called partial factoring. So in which we'll factor just the first two and then continue. So have a good look at it. So we get what? If I factor x from here, I get x plus 14 plus 25. Now for x equals to 0 and for x equals to minus 14, what is the value of s? It is 25. Well, this is 25. So for this we have s equals to 25. So as you see, for these two values s is same. So midway between these two values we have axis of symmetry, correct? So that is how you do with partial factoring. So partial factor it, find, that is actually a y-intercept. If x is 0, you get y-intercept. And that is the image point of the y-intercept. So y-intercept basically is 0 and 25. And the image is minus 14 and 25. And right at the center, we have axis of symmetry. So we get axis is at x equals to average of these two, that is 0 plus minus 14 divided by 2, and that gives us minus 7. So we get our answer, minus 7 is x, correct? So if x equals to minus 7, the other number is minus 7 plus 5, which is minus 2. So you get the same answer, correct? So that is how you could do. So axis of symmetry works like this. Let me just show you once again. Now we got the y-intercept of plus 25 for x equals to 0 and same value for minus 14. So let us say this is minus 14, right? So this is minus 14. So axis of symmetry is right there in between somewhere, correct? So if we really graph it, so we don't know, we didn't calculate the y value yet, but if we calculate, we'll get this value. Is it okay? It is not to the scale since I want to fit it in there, right? If the question was find the minimum value, you can also substitute minus 7 here and find it, right? So if I substitute minus 7, so it will be minus 7 times minus 7 plus 14, which is also plus 7. So it is minus 49 plus 25. So you get minus 24 here. So minimum value is 24 minus, which is not really asked for. But in any case, here are two different methods. You can either do completing the squares method, or you could do partial factoring to find maximum or minimum. I think that helps. Thank you and all the best.